Average Joe's Drive-In is proudly sponsored by the Maine Cannababes. The Cannababes are a charity group of pro-cannabis women in the state of Maine who are bringing worthy attention to various causes throughout the medical cannabis community. This year, they launched their very first Maine Cannababes pinup calendar. All the proceeds from this calendar are going to worthy charitable causes. If you are interested in purchasing one or finding out more about the Cannababes, you can go to their website, www.maincannababes.com, or find them on most major forms of social media like Facebook and Instagram. Please go and check out this group of wonderful people doing great things and helping out in the community. Once again, that's maincannababes.com.
Welcome to Average Joe's Drive-In,
Your weekly podcast on movies, music, games,
and other things entertainment related.
Now, your host,
TJ Washburn.
Hey everybody, welcome to Average Joe's Drive-In. I am your host, TJ Washburn, and this is episode number 28, I believe, or 27, I can't remember. But we're going to go with 28 because that's just the type of week it's been, and I hope everybody that celebrates Thanksgiving is getting ready for lots of good food and time with family and friends and getting to enjoy all of that stuff. And I don't have a lot to talk about this week, but this is my review episode for the week. There was no regular episode. My guest had to reschedule due to an emergency, so we were unable to get together this week. But I've got all kinds of cool guests lined up in the coming months through December. I will be doing a Christmas-themed episode of non-traditional Christmas movies with my good friend Eric Marner from the Movie Freaks podcast. We'll be doing that sometime before Christmas. So I'll have that up. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty positive there's going to be like a week span around right around Christmas and New Year's where there may not be any episodes for a week or two just because of the holidays and the way stuff is going on. But if there are episodes, they will be they're obviously not going to be on the regular days, which is usually Mondays for the interview type episodes, and I'm trying to do Thursdays for review episodes. That way, kind of keep them separate, so you get a double dose of Average Joe's Drive-In every week. Yeah, so let's get into it. I haven't watched a ton of movies. The last couple weeks, just been really busy with a lot of stuff going on, but I have got to see some really good ones at least, and I'm going to talk about those, and I also am going to talk a little bit about Season 2 of Stranger Things, but I'm going to save that for the last part of the episode. So, with that said, let's get right into it, and the first movie I'm going to talk about is 2017's Thor Ragnarok.
So much has happened since I last saw you. I lost my hammer, like yesterday, so that's still pretty fresh. And then I went on a journey of self-discovery, where I met you. Where are we? You have no idea. Hela, the goddess of death, has invaded Asgard.
Oh, I've missed this.
And you and I had a fight recently.
Did I win?
No, I won, easily.
Doesn't sound right.
Well, it's true.
Asgard is dead. And it'll be reborn in my image. I thought you'd be glad to see me.
I need to stop her here and now. To prevent Ragnarok, the end of everything. So they're putting together a team.
Like the old days. Surprise! This will be such fun. Hello. Hi.
He's a fighter.
Here we go!
I'm not a queen or a monster. I'm the goddess of death. What were you the god of again?
We're the same, you and I. Just a couple of hot-headed fools.
Yeah, same. Hulk like fire, Thor like water,
Well, kind of both like fire.
but Hulk like raging fire, Thor like smoldering fire.
This film was directed by Taika Waititi, has a runtime of 130 minutes, rated PG-13, stars Chris Hemsworth, Tom Hiddleston, and Cate Blanchett. I saw this in the theater. Synopsis. Imprisoned, the almighty Thor finds himself in a lethal gladiatorial contest against the Hulk, his former ally. Thor must fight for survival and race against time to prevent the all-powerful Hela from destroying his home and the Asgardian civilization. I've always enjoyed the Thor movies. I feel like they're a bit of the black sheep of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in a lot of ways. I've never felt they got the attention some of the bigger franchises like Iron Man or Captain America got, but overall, they've been solid. The first one was good and the second one was enjoyable, but maybe not as good as the first one. It was interesting to see where this one went. From the preview alone, it seemed to have gone bigger and grander. The trailer grabbed my interest enough to go and check it out in the theater, which was a first for me for a standalone Thor movie. I've usually just waited until they've, been released on DVD or Blu-ray. This is hands down the best of the three Thor movies. They nailed it on the head and finally played to Hemsworth's strength as an actor and his ability to deliver comedy beats perfectly. It was a near perfect mix of action and comedy. Never once was I bored. The acting was solid and the story itself was well done. I commend whoever did the casting on a great job with that. The new characters were excellent and fit perfectly into the Thoriverse. Oh, and let's not forget the score. Very classic 80s in style and very John Carpenter-esque at times. And I am not complaining about that the least bit. Anytime we can get some really cool, well-done scores like that, I am totally down for it. Just wonderfully done. Can't wait to give this one a second viewing. I highly recommend going and seeing this one in the theater if you can, because it is an absolute blast to watch with a crowd. Especially if the crowd is a decent one. Speaking of that, this is also a reminder, before I drop my ratings on this one, of if you're going to take your kids to the theater, which, hey, we all do, especially on a film like this, if they're kicking the back of somebody's seat and just being a general shit in general, please say something to them. Don't just sit there and stare blankly into space and pretend that, nothing's going on. Because I'll tell you what, there is nothing more annoying than having like an 11 or 12-year-old sitting behind you kicking the seat constantly, pushing on the seat, and the seat you're in front of, and then you having to look back and correct them or try not to yell at them and be a dick because you're in public. So, just a heads up for parents, if your kids can't behave in a theater, don't fucking take them, because it's annoying for those of us that go and have to spend money to go in and see. Take them to a daytime show, not a 7 o'clock at night show. Or don't take them at all if they can't act, decent. That's just my little rant for the moment. But, alright, so my rating on this one was an 8.5 out of 10. The IMDb rating for this one was an 8.2 out of 10. Next up is 2011's Goon.
Yes, there he is.
I don't have a thing. Like, you have your show, and my dad and my brother, they have their doctor thing. Everybody's got something but me.
I'm sorry. Let's just go watch The Assassins. I'll fill you full of corn dogs.
Oh, he's going up in the stands.
Send us over here. Oh, attaboy, Dutch!
Doug, you impressed the hell out of me last night. Come down to the rink for a tryout.
No, you're not joining the Housecapades, right, buddy?
You're not trying out for the what?
You've been touched by the fist of God. What number you want to wear?
69! Take the number 69! It's hilarious!
Is that never taken?
My brother, he wants to offer you a contract.
You're not here to play hockey. You're here to fight.
This is one step under the big league.
No glory holes here tonight!
Hi, I'm Doug Ladd. 2 rules, man. Stay away from my Percocets, and do you have any Percocets?
All right. Who do you help and protect these guys?
You are dumb. I'm on your team!
I'm here to do whatever they need me to do. If they need me to bleed, and I'll bleed for my team.
You can do anything except punch people. What do I know?
You're like the Hebrew Dolph Lundgren.
Doug, I dig hockey players. The violence, the beer. I'm horny a lot.
The boss, Ray. He is the master.
You have my respect. If ever there comes a time when it gets down to you and me, I will lay you out, kid.
This has all the elements of a sports masterpiece. Ready?
Yes. Thank you for asking.
This is about to get ugly.
Hey, you want to go?
Yeah, okay.
Good luck, man. Good luck to you too, bud.
Knock him out.
This film was directed by Michael Dowse, has a 92-minute runtime, is rated R, stars Sean William Scott, Jay Baruchel, and Allison Pill. I watched this one on Netflix. Synopsis. Labeled an outcast by his brainy family, a bouncer overcomes long odds to lead a team of underperforming misfits to semi-pro hockey glory, beating the crap out of everything that stands in his way. It's a pretty damn good summary of the film. I love hockey. It's one of my favorite sports to watch, and I've always been fascinated by the role of the enforcers. They're the on-ice policemen who right wrongs and stick up for their teammates. Some people love them, some hate them, but they're a vital part of the game, in my honest opinion. They keep people from doing stupid things, and, you know, the refs are supposed to do that, but the hockey's such a fast-paced game that not everybody sees that stuff. This is a pretty solid movie overall. It's a bit ludicrous in its over-the-top nature of the role of the enforcer. Maybe the 70s and 80s hockey era was a little more along these lines, and maybe even early 90s, but not so much in modern hockey, where the enforcer's roles have been greatly diminished just because of the concussion and head injury thing and, you know, some other stuff. It's got enough funny moments, and I dare say heart, that it makes it for a really enjoyable flick. Sean William Scott is excellent in the role of Doug, and this may not be a popular opinion, but I actually enjoy a good chunk of the films of his I've seen, and I wish I'd get more. Even if he is a bit typecast at times, the guy can act, and he's a good comedic actor, especially when given the right roles. I mean, The Rundown was another prime example of a film that he was really funny in. If you love hockey, enforcers, and comedy, you need to do yourself a favor and check out Goon. While it may not be a masterpiece, it's an enjoyable film, and I am quite looking forward to the sequel. My rating for this one was a 6 out of 10. The IMDb rating for this was a 6.8 out of 10. Next up on the list is 2016's Ghostbusters.
asked for reparation. It's okay. She seems peaceful.
My name is Erin Gilbert, Doctor of Particle Physics. That stuff went everywhere, by the way, in every crack. Very hard to wash off.
We have dedicated our whole lives to studying the paranormal. Now there's sightings all over the city. There are people out there that need our help. Holtzman, you're a brilliant engineer. Erin, no one's better at quantum physics than you. We can provide a real service.
I'm joining the club. You guys are really smart about this science stuff, but I know New York. And I can borrow a car from my uncle.
You didn't disclose that the vehicle was going to be a hearse.
It's a Cadillac!
Let's go.
Let's go.
Oh. Did you want to?
Sorry. I'll let you.
Next time. Okay.
Someone is creating a device that amplifies paranormal activity. And we might be the only ones who can stop it.
Holtzman, come on.
The hat is too much, right? Is it the wig or the hat?
There's a bigger picture at hand here. These ghosts can possess the human form.
Oh, hell no, the devil is a liar! Get out of my friend, ghost!
Ow, that's gonna leave a mark.
The power of pain compels you!
Ow!
This film was directed by Paul Feig, has a 116-minute runtime, rated PG-13, stars Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, Kate McKinnon, and Leslie Jones. I watched this one on Blu-ray. Synopsis. Following a ghost invasion of Manhattan, paranormal enthusiast Erin Gilbert and Abby Yates, nuclear engineer Gillian Holtzman, and subway worker Patty Tolan band together to stop the otherworldly threat. I've wanted to see this one for a while, especially with all the controversy surrounding it. I was curious if it was warranted or not. I found a copy on Blu-ray earlier this week for cheap, and I figured it was worth taking a shot on. So I'm going to get right down to it. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. It was kind of meh. To be honest, it's not a horrible movie by any means, but it also suffers from a lot of missed opportunities. What works for the film are the great special effects and the chemistry between the characters. Those two things really stood out for me. Much like the original films, there was a believability to the characters and their relationships. The effects were gorgeous looking. That part of it was absolutely knocked out of the park. What didn't work for me, I thought the villain sucked. I had no vested interest in that character at all. So it didn't create an antagonist that I was rooting against, especially when you humanize that antagonist. You need to there has to be a reason why you don't like them. The comedy was hit or miss. It seemed like they tried just way too hard. I get it, not everything is going to hit, but this did just seem to have a higher missed ratio than hit in that aspect. I wish they would have gone a little harder and made this something that truly would have stood out. Give it more of its own voice, which I think they did a decent job of, but it could have been more. That's the biggest thing I'll think of with this one. It could have been more. Instead, we just got a middle-of-the-road big-budget action film. Now, for those of you who are bitching about it being a reboot and switching up the characters, I'm going to say this. We have our Ghostbusters. The first two films are always going to be there for us. It takes absolutely nothing away from those films. Personally, I think it's awesome there's going to be a whole generation of little girls who have some badass female Ghostbusters to look up to. As much as I hate remakes and reboots and wish they'd just work on newer films, I get it. You're putting out something with a recognizable name, which gives it credibility or garners excitement without having to build up new hype. But if you're going to do it, go big, go different, and make it its own thing. Even if you miss, you'll at least have put a new stamp on it, for better or for worse. My rating for this film was a 5.5 out of 10. The IMDb rating on this one is a 5.3 out of 10. Up next for me, I revisited an old favorite, and that is 1987's Spaceballs.
There it is, planet Druidia. And underneath the air shield, 10,000 years of fresh air. We must get through that air shield.
We will, sir. Once we kidnap the princess, we can force her father, King Roland, to give us the combination to the air shield, thereby destroying planet Druidia and saving planet Spaceball.
Everybody got that?
Spaceballs, the movie.
Princess Vespa's spaceship within range, sir.
Good.
What's going on? It's either the 4th of July or someone's trying to kill us.
Now we will show her who is in charge of this galaxy.
If you do not give me the combination to the air shield, Dr. Slotkin will give your daughter back her old nose.
Only one man and his trusted companion can save planet Druidia from disaster.
Okay, Eagle 5, coming in.
Lone Star.
First, they must learn the secrets of yogurt.
Yogurt? I am the keeper of a greater magic.
The Force?
No, the Schwartz.
Avoid capture on a distant planet.
Tell them to comb the desert, you hear me? Comb the desert! Found anything yet? We ain't found...
Battle the entire Spaceball army.
My hair! He shoved my hair!
Holy...
And escape the clutches of Dark Helmet.
I see your Schwartz is as big as mine. Abandon ship! Proceed to escape pods!
What the hell's the matter with this seatbelt?
When does this happen in the movie?
Give me bomb!
Spaceballs, the movie.
How do I know you're not making faces at me under that thing? And may the Schwartz be with you!
This film was directed by Mel Brooks, has a runtime of 96 minutes, it's rated PG, stars Mel Brooks, John Candy, Rick Moranis, Bill Pullman, Joan Rivers, and Dick Van Patten, as well as many more. I watched this one on VHS. Synopsis. Planet Spaceballs President Scrooge sends Lord Dark Helmet to steal planet Druidia's abundant supply of air to replenish their own, and only Lone Star can stop them. Spaceballs is one of those films that I grew up on. It's a childhood favorite that I've only seen a handful of times over the last 25 years. Sometimes when you have fond memories of something and go back and revisit it years later, it does not hold up to the memories you've built in your head. I'm glad to say Spaceballs isn't one of those movies. I still enjoyed the hell out of it. It's still funny, albeit a little cheesy, but funny. This one still holds up as one of my favorite Mel Brooks films, easily in the top 3 with Young Frankenstein and Robin Hood Men in Tights. I do have to say that watching it on VHS brought back a bit of the nostalgia of my childhood. It almost felt like the old days, kind of weird how something so simple as the format you're watching it on can do that. My rating on this one is 7.5 out of 10. The IMDb rating is 7.1 out of 10. And last but not least for films, I got to see a movie premiere, and I wanted to talk a little bit about this before I get into actually reviewing the film. Had a chance to go to a movie premiere, and I tried to make this review as unbiased as possible, because this is the film company that is doing the film adaptation of my short story Chum. And, I tried to be very honest with this review, and, so I don't want to hear, well, you just give it that rating because of this and this. It's not. No, this is my honest review and how I really felt about this. So, and that is 2017's Sleep Eaters.
Thank you all for coming. I know it's been a long, difficult road, but I can finally present to you something you have waited for. Something your generous donations have given us, given me the opportunity to discover. Today you will see where your contributions have gone. As you know, this facility houses the patients who will not or cannot adjust to society in the same way that you and I do from day to day. We take care of them for you. And they maintain a lifestyle where sleep is never needed. 3 words: sedation, sedation, sedation. But as we know, this is not the only way to control the illness. The willingness to eat what the body has craved all along. This man has the cure, yes. But we all possess it, inside. Implanted in the back of all of our heads. It's what really causes our dreams, ladies and gentlemen. Inside this man's head, the exact spot, the exact bit of matter that, matters to us. What he is missing is what has caused this all along. Today marks a new day to live. One simple procedure reverses this all. For you, your life will finally again be normal.
You ready to finish this once and for all?
This film was directed by Shane Graham, has a 90-minute runtime. It's not rated. Stars Tony Bennett, Craig Capone, Bill Casanelli, and Star Ferris. I saw this one in the theater. Synopsis. A year after the events of the first film, Sleep Eater, We follow Rachel Stevens, who is trying to uncover the truth behind the unspeakable Cannibal Kelly Anderson murders that happened in her town of Bangor, Maine. Meanwhile, Kelly Anderson, who is now on the run from the law and with a bounty on his head, finds himself in the middle of a war between a lonely man, Reggie, and a family of gun-toting lunatics. When their blood-soaked paths cross, we uncover a world filled with more terror, more gore, and a diabolical doctor who has a cure and plenty of patients to experiment on. So I had a chance to attend the world premiere of Cemetery Theater's first feature-length film, Sleep Eaters. It was a blast, and I'm glad I got to attend. I saw the short film Sleep Eater last year after attending a Comic-Con, and I really enjoyed it. So I was curious to see where the follow-up would go and how it would play out. Needless to say, I wasn't disappointed. If you're a gore hound, this film has plenty. I knew going in the film was done on a very limited budget. With that in mind, they made excellent use of what they had. I've seen films with substantially larger budgets that didn't succeed in that area anywhere near as well as this film did. There's plenty of offbeat comedy and entertaining moments scattered throughout the film to keep you interested. It's a solid mix of everything I love about low-budget horror. It very much harkens back to classic 80s slasher and campy splatter flicks. Maybe even a little Italian, films thrown in there. Like any low-budget film, there are issues, but the heart and overall passion that went into this film are clearly evident by the product on the screen. It just goes to prove, if you have the drive and determination to make something happen, you can do it. Just because the budget isn't huge, you can still make an enjoyable, fun film. In the end, Sleep Eaters achieved both of those things. If you're a fan of low-budget, gory horror with just the right amount of comedy thrown in, you'll more than likely enjoy this one, and I recommend checking it out. My rating for this one is a 7 out of 10. So, that wraps up my movie reviews, and I wanted to talk about, which I don't do a lot actually, I don't talk about TV shows a lot on this one, but I wanted to talk a little bit about this season of Stranger Things, which is out now on Netflix.
On Halloween night, Will saw a sort of shadow. Maybe all of this is happening for a reason.
These are not nightmares. It's happening. And it all leads back to here.
This thing.
You said it was all in his head. And what have you done? Nothing.
What is wrong with my boy?
I don't understand. 11 what? She always did. It's like it's reaching into Hawkins. If anyone knows how to destroy this thing, it's Will.
Oh my God.
Don't you think it's weird how we only seem to hang out when the world's about to end?
It's not like it was before. It's grown.
It's Judgment Day. Which is why we need as much help as we can get. Is anyone there? Anyone?
You should go It's almost here.
You still have that bat?
Bat? What bat?
One with the nails.
This season picks up where season 1 left off a year later. Just a heads up, there are probably going to be a few little spoilers here as I gab about this for a few minutes. It won't be real long, but I just wanted to give a rundown of my thoughts on the whole thing. And it picks up. This season we get more Dustin, more Lucas, more Will. We get to really focus on those characters a little bit more. Everything doesn't necessarily revolve around Mike. And 11 is still very prominent, but this season they've kind of separated the characters a little bit, and they all have some different things going on. And I really, really like that because it gave us a chance to get to know some of those other characters that maybe didn't play as prominent of a role in season 1. We get to see a little bit more of the home lives of the characters, which was awesome because there is some gold. There is some gold in those family interactions, and it's very, very cool. We also get to see get to meet some new characters like Max and her brother. Also this season, asshole Steve gets to has more of a prominent role, and one of the flat out best transfers of loathing a character at the beginning of season 1 to absolutely loving the character. And there is a time when he kind of takes Dustin under his wing in this season that is absolutely comedy gold. They are perfect together, and it's a great there's some great moments between those two, and I really enjoyed it. Overall this season, I like this season as much as season 1, if not maybe a little bit more, which maybe isn't the most popular opinion because a lot of people seem to really enjoy season 1 more than this one. I think the characters were way more fleshed out this season, which is part of the reason that I liked it. I think I liked it maybe a little bit better. There was a couple episodes that were maybe not quite as good as the other ones, but the other six or seven episodes more than make up for those two that are kind of there. And I like the new characters that they added in and what they did with those characters. It really brings everything together. The big bad is definitely way more grandiose than this one, and more menacing and more threatening. And I can't go without saying I absolutely love the character of Bob in this one, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but that is Sean Astin's character. If you haven't watched it, I don't want to ruin anything for you about this character, but great character. I love Sean Astin. He's a great actor. Fun part of my childhood from movies like The Goonies right up through the Lord of the Rings films. I mean, it's freaking Samwise, So he... Great actor, and his role is awesome and so vital to this season, and it's great. And Paul Reiser was excellent, and just the whole show was just so well done, and I absolutely love it. I cannot wait for season 3. If you have been holding back, maybe you didn't like season 1 as much as everybody else, so you've been kind of I recommend you check it out. And it's kind of funny because I was thinking about this, and I was listening to my good friends, the movie freaks, Eric Marner and Eugene Weaver, and Eric was talking about the same thing. He didn't like season 1 as much as he liked season 2 better than season 1. And I think there's a lot of people out there that are like that. Maybe they're not quite so vocal about it as other people are, but so if you were kind of iffy on season 1 and thought it was good but not great, give season 2 a shot. I think you'll enjoy it more. I'm actually looking forward to going back and rewatching season 2 again here right off. I may even go back and rewatch it right from season 1 right through. We'll see how that goes. There's a lot of stuff on the horizon. Whether or not I have time to do that or not is another story. But so that's pretty much all I've got for this week. And like I said, thank you everybody for listening to the show. As always, you can check out the show on multiple websites if you want to interact with me and check out different stuff. I post reviews that I on the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Average Joe's Drive-In Podcast. You can also keep up with what's going on Instagram at Thomas Washburn Jr., Twitter, TWJ Author, even though I'm not on there a lot. I also have a website, www.thomaswashburnjr.com. So yeah, you can kind of keep up with the show on there and interact, and I love hearing from you guys and talking with people. I'm going to be looking, if anybody's listening to this show and you are interested in sponsoring the show, please send an email to subterfugeproductions@yahoo.com or hit up one of the social media pages, and we'll talk. I'm always looking for sponsors, and I'm trying to take the show up another level, and that would be a great help. I've also been throwing around the idea of a GoFundMe or a Kickstarter. Whether or not that's anything anybody would be interested in doing, I don't know. I'm still debating because I'm not the type of person that likes to ask anybody for help, but I could definitely use some to, make the show better. And I don't ask a whole lot. I do this all out of my own pocket for fun because I do love doing the show and talking movies and nerd things and, interviewing people and doing all that. But there are some expenses involved with the show. So if that's something anybody would be interested in, just drop a line on one of the sites and say, hey, I might be willing to do something, and if there's enough interest, then I will maybe do a GoFundMe or Kickstarter. It's not going to be for much, but I'm just, again, it's thrown around. I said it's something I'm really debating hard about, whether I want to do that or not. I would like to thank my sponsors, the Maine Cannababes, for being so awesome and supporting the show, and please go, check them out, maincannababes.com. You can still get the pinup calendar. I believe that ships December 1st. So if you haven't got it yet, you still have time. Get your order in. All the proceeds go to great causes. And, it's just a cool page. There's lots of beautiful ladies on there. Lots of information. So that's maincannababes.com. Once again, thank you guys for listening. You guys kick so much ass, and I appreciate you all tuning in. Once again, you have been listening to Average Joe's Drive-In. I am your host, TJ Washburn, and I will see you sexy animals on the flip side.